Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, today we've got a map from a creator who apparently comes from China, and yet they have done a fairly convincing Alpine style map, which, I mean, there's no reason why you can't do an Alpine style map if you're from China. It's just that you expect them not to do an Alpine style map. That said, I'm from the UK and I did a Japanese style map, so who am I? Who am I to criticise? I'm not criticising. I'm suitably impressed that they have gone outside of their own locale and created something that genuinely, there's some very nice stuff on here. And we'll point it out. One or two things to grumble about. If there wasn't, you wouldn't watch the show now, would you? And while you're watching it, we're going to keep your hands busy with a bingo card and a bingo pen. Check off the memes as we go along, and of course keep your finger busy with the clicking of the like button. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for that support. Today's map is Rathenheim by, is this R-A-I or Rai? I'm going to go with Rai, but it's probably R-A-I. Yeah, it's going to be easier to say, isn't it? I'm all about the easy. There's your start square, nothing easy about that. Beautiful, beautiful networks everywhere. Very nice. Terrain heights, realistic vibe indeed. Probably from a terrain height map somewhere. And then we have resources, field painting, but field painting can work depending on how you structure it. If you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, we have salmon and we have anchovies. Basically the sort of things I would want out of a river. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? It's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. Theme mixer is in operation with a custom theme mix using the Relight Bleak LUT. A few things to subscribe to there, including we've got the railway replacer mod for one of these railway bridges as well. We'll talk about that as we go on. Now, the thing with the theme mixer mod, it is covered kind of in the comments a little bit, is the actual individual themes aren't listed on the right as required items. Now I'm kind of like in a lukewarm water on this one, because as it isn't a one-click collection where you hit the one click and you don't do anything else, you don't even think about it, you have to manually click on the theme mixer and then subscribe to that manually. At which point you see that there are required items, i.e. 3 themes to subscribe to, and yes, you would subscribe to them manually. It's a bit of a pain, it's a bit of a long way, and of course it'd be handy if we had a collection. Today would be a good day for a collections tutorial link, I would suggest. If only I could remember to do such things. Anyway, so yes, nice first bridge there, quite happy with that. So yeah, a one-click collection would be great, and if you had a one-click collection I would want those themes listed. Relight isn't listed, although we are using the Relight Bleak LUT, so you'll need Relight to have this exact recommended vibe, the whole punch of the Relight LUTs that you get, even if it's the bleak one which gives you that slightly duller, grayer, wetter kind of look. I like it. It certainly works for an Alpine style green and snow, and of course we've got the Alps Dolomites theme for the snow as well up there in them Dar mountains. Now this bridge here we'll be taking a look at in the second half of the show. There's something about it I'm not really excited by. We will come back to it and I'll show you what it is and what I would do to change it. Is it broken? No. Is it wrong? Arguably. Does it matter? Never does. Let's carry on. Okay, this is down into the start square territory now. We have this intricate looking intersection here. I really like this. I don't know if that's been plopped off the workshop or whether it's been hand drawn, but it's been very well done. And got a custom bridge immediately following it, where it's of a decent standard. Let's head off over the river at this point. We're going to be talking about rocks later on, and I had one or two minor grumbles about what was going on underneath the bridge there, but we're not even going to look at those. There are plenty of other things to talk about today, and those minor grumbles, they're just going to stay minor grumbles. Probably bigger grumbles with these rocks under here, which are just clipping through the underside of the start of the bridge, and there they go. And we'll head on over to the highway on this side of the river, and we'll follow on up, and this will take us up to, well, the start square actually straddles the river, and we've got an elevated bit of highway here, which I'm not buying completely. I can see why it's elevated, and it's clean, and it's tidy, and I think I would rather have it been down at ground level with maybe just a little cliff drop off along the edge, just a small cliff drop off. I think that would have looked nicer. We've got plenty of rocks on today's map. Could have done a bit of rock detailing along the edge of it maybe as well. Maybe. Down to a roundabout here. Now this roundabout will lead us up via some switchbacks to the mountains. We'll be having a look on the other side of the mountains in the second half of the show. Yes, the bear will look over the mountain to see what he can see, and that is BonBonB. Or BonBonB. Not quite sure. Not BonBonB. Oh, nobody wants that. Anyway, we've got... we'll have a look at that bridge in the second half of the show as well. That's quite nice as well. Everything's quite nice. Everything is almost excellent on today's map. When I say everything, so there's one bit which I will say is excellent, and I'm going to sing it up to the highest praises, because there aren't many maps that have done better than this one on this one specific aspect when we get to it. Head over this river here, and just heading on towards the edge of the map so we can come back and have a look at the rail. Yeah, this map excels in one particular point, and when I just looked at it in awe, and I think I should make notes and come back and check it out when I'm doing my next map, just to steal the technique, because there is a technique which is very stealable. Big old bridge over there. Everybody loves a big old bridge. Custom bridge. A roundabout road there, janky and jinky on the other side. Could just be curved. Could do a little bit of a curve on there, just to make it a little bit easier to move into and out of. And then we have another bridge going over another river, and plenty of these. This very, very nice custom bridge. That one is being used to very good effect and full credit. And then on and along the coast, well, the river towards the coast now. Now we're going to see some rock work in a moment, which we'll come and have a look back in the second half of the show. So if you're seeing anything along here that you don't quite like, then I promise you we will be coming back and I'll be saying why I totally agree with you on a little bit along there. That said again, the overall standards are still pretty fine. And then off to the edge of the map there. Right, let's have a look at the rail. Now, Railway Replacer mod, we have it because there are bridges that require it. Oh, there was I don't know if you heard the motorbike a second ago. If you're playing BonBonBingo, motorbike, it's outside, sound of outside the window, you can tick that off. I never know if the mic picks these things up, but I'll let you know if I hear it loud enough to worry about it anyway. Heading down towards, we've got some sidings here. Now these sidings seem to have some kind of catenary chaos. So if you've got catenary chaos, you can check that off as well. It's not strictly catenary chaos though, because we've got nothing straddling any rails, so there's no actual problems. But we've got the doubling up of the catenaries as well, which is ugly. Ugly. As we come down past everybody's favourite factory. Right, so yes, the catenaries, I don't feel there's any need for them because we're using the Railway Replacer mod. We could have had the entire rail line done with the Railway Replacer mod. Rocking and hole in there, rocking and hole in on the side of the track. Another one for your BonBonBingo as we're going along. Now elevated just above ground level. I think it works though. That I will let go. It might have been climbing a little bit steeper than real life would allow, but I think it's a sort of map where I think we can allow for that one. And then we're on to the, there you go, Railway Replacer mods. Beautiful rail, superb mod, and a great looking asset there to take us across to the next tunnel. When we emerge from that, we are back to vanilla. And the vanilla just looks so bad. And the problem is also with the railway replacer mod, because we are using vanilla as well, the catenaries are on or off. It's, I don't know, whichever catenary replacer mod can remove them, but I don't unless I'm told to. Another bit of the railway replacer mod there, going into vanilla again. I would have gone the whole lot railway replacer mod. It just makes perfect sense. It's such a good thing. And speaking of good things, let's have an intermission. Always a nice thing.
Are you confused by all those buttons running along the top and bottom of the screen? And what was that icon for again? Does anyone know? Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to the User Interface. Click the information button now.
And so back to the shipping routes along that river with all the low bridges. And we don't have any. We don't have any ships. This is good. Rathenheim by Rye has done good. We've got air route. We only really need one air route, and it's here, and it's a straight line, and it does what it needs to do. So no ships, but air routes. Okay. Water flow if you are wanting a working river system. This is a working river system. It's strong. It's wide enough, it's deep enough, and you've got all these side rivers as well to play with too, if you wanted to do something clever with dams or whatever. I'd be very careful if you're doing things with dams, but there might be something that you can do somewhere, maybe. There's no specific point that I would recommend, but you know, I know some of you like messing about with dams. God damn it. Okay, let's have a look at the map as a whole. Yes, the splurge of snow there for the snow melt. Very well done, the snow melt water sources. I'm not even going to look at the water sources. They've got other things to get excited by. Right, okay, rocking and holding. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy it. Here, right by the rail here, just doesn't look like it's a thing. It looks like it's been put there for decoration rather than something that was actually there as part of the environment. The rivers are fine. Okay, these look really good. There's obviously a lot of water pouring out of the side of the mountain in a way that's almost too much, but we can suspend a bit of disbelief, and the water is all going to pour down into that river, which I can buy into. Okay, let's go with that. Let's say we can buy into it. Then the snow melt water source. Let's have a quick glance at that. There, fly over that one. Over here, we've got something very similar on the other side of the mountain. I think this is done quite well. Again, quite a bit of water coming down here, pouring down and merging, and it's a very good looking river. Very nice looking river. And it goes down into this lake, which is fine, except for the lake is a little bit on the small side for the amount of water that's pouring into it. And I'm struggling to get my head around that. I can get all the water pouring out of the mountain. I get that. But where's that water going to? Like that I'm struggling with a little bit. At least with the river, it's believable that the water can escape. Okay, bridge. This is a lovely bridge. Okay, lovely bridge. It's fairly well positioned as well. I just don't think it's the right bridge for the road that we're using. It just doesn't quite work. We have, of course, got the rocks clipping through on the underside there as well. But yes, we've got footpath space along the side, and then yeah, it's just I don't think the right bridge for the right assets there. Also the rocks, I'm not really, although it looks really good, I don't think the mossy rocks work with the grass texture. It just doesn't quite match up for me. Speaking of rocks, other side of the river, this looks quite good. But all I am seeing, and it's probably just me because I do this all the time, is I'm seeing the pattern, the repeated pattern of the same rocks being dropped over and over and over, just spammed down. Some of these could have been rotated just a little bit to have taken the pattern, the repeating pattern out of the rocks. Now, I did say we'd come back to here. I'm seeing something very similar with the green rocks, the mossy rocks, especially with the big ones, the big spiky ones at the top. I'm seeing a pattern going on there, but I can get my head around it. What I'm struggling though with is the biomes. What is it? Why is it so mossy above the road, but dry below the road? I'm trying to get my head around how that would be, and to me, it just looks odd. To me, just that bit looks a bit odd. Okay, I promised you we'd come back to this road, and for me, this is elevating slightly. You can't really see it. It's quite subtle, and a few of you go, yeah, it's fine by me. Let me show you. Call up the terrain mod, and the height of that is 262 meters, okay? And where it goes into the hill, it goes straight from bridge into tunnel, is 288. So we're climbing up about, what, 26 meters over that space. And it emerges down here at, bear with me, at 250 meters. So we're dropping 30. That is actually lower than where the bridge starts. So ideally, what I would like to have seen would be a flatter bridge going into a tunnel, let's say about there, maybe with a bit of a cutting, and then emerging. And it just would have made a cleaner line, a more believable flat line there. Now, what is exceptional on this map is look at these tree shapes. Look at the tree painting along here. These hills are unremarkable. They don't do anything. And yet the trees bring them to life with the patterns that have been used. This is top quality work right here. And yes, I'm going to make a note to come back and have a look at this map next time I build a map to steal some of the work. The fields don't really do it for me so much. I don't know what it is. They're not bad, but I think compared to the shapes of the forests, they're a bit ordinary. And ordinary is okay. Ordinary's 3 stars, isn't it? Nothing wrong with 3 stars. And right, what else haven't we looked at? Well, oh, the start square. The start square looks flat enough, and we have an asset of the day. It's a Suburban Wawa by Hexavalent Chromium. What a name. What a name. Especially, I've never heard of Wawa before. Obviously, Suburban, because we're not in the inner city. And yeah, Wawa, apparently it's a convenience store brand, which you will find on the east coast of the US of A. But yeah, never heard of them. So it's new to me, and I've learned something. And I might learn something else in a moment about factoids. Factoids because factoids. Blackbird, who was the chief of the Omaha Indians, was buried sitting on his favourite horse. Now, it doesn't say here whether he was buried upright, sitting on the horse, or whether he was put prone with the horse lying down, and then him with the horse crushing his leg. Was the horse alive when it was I doubt the horse was alive, but yeah, was he buried vertically? Anybody who knows, please let me know in the comments, because that is something that will keep me curious for at least another minute when I've forgotten until I see the comments. Suburban Wawa by Hexavalent Chromium, today's asset of the day. And so, as the voice starts to croak as the instrument cracks in, I do apologise. I will get to the end of the show. It's the very last thing I do. It's time to vote on the map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right corner of your screen, or the link in the description that will take you to the voting page, where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. I am going to clear my throat. I'm back, and it hasn't worked. I was hoping that a quick clear was going to fix it. Let's not worry about it. So, what do I think of today's map? Aesthetically, it's almost. I like a lot about it. I like the theme mix. I like the LUT. I think the combos work quite well. Of course, the LUT is not part of the required assets, so well, I don't know. And everything is almost there. The things that should take it to 4-star level don't quite manage it, so I'm going to go for a very high 3. Detailing, on the whole, very good. Again, all of those little things that should take it up to 4 stars just fail, but high credit for those trees. Love them. So middle high 3. Gameplay potential, absolutely, definitely nice playable map. I'm going just below middle 4 only because there's 1 or 2 things you want to fix as you're going along. Rathenheim by Arai or RAI, depending on whichever one it is. That's today is a very nice Chinese alpine map, and done very nicely. Just missing those little tick boxes. The ones that get you into 4 stars and the seal of approval. Just missing it. Darn it. Anyway, that's our feature for today. What's our feature for tomorrow going to be? And what's the word of the day going to be? Use that in the comments. Score some population points to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. And I'll be back tomorrow with my voice fully pre-cracked.